My name is Orsola de Castro, and together with Carrie Summers, I am co-founder of Fashion Revolution. So, many years ago, I was sitting at a meeting discussing ethical fashion with a group of very influential fashionistas. And one of them said, "Oh, but this saving the planet thing is so worthy." It was as if, on planet fashion, worthy meant dull, uncool. Thankfully, things have changed dramatically since then. Talk about momentum. Today's citizens are looking for a fashion industry that leads, combining modern technology, innovation, to durability and a very strong emotional attachment. We are looking for an industry where the words aspirational and democratic apply both to the end product and its entire supply chain. We want to know who makes our clothes and in what conditions, because the impact of the fashion industry on our everyday lives and on the lives of the people who make our clothes is enormous. We know it is the second most polluting industry in the world, and it directly employs 75 million people. 80% of garment workers are women, often working in exploitative conditions, underpaid, abused, invisible. We also know that we are producing a staggering 150 billion garments of clothing per year, and that a huge majority of them will be worn infrequently, if at all, discarded very quickly. In fact, our ready-to-wear is turning into a ready-to-throw. So, a while ago, Karl Marx said that religion is the opium of the masses. To upgrade this into a modern settings, I would say that consumerism is our crack cocaine. The Rana Plaza collapse in Bangladesh in 2013, when 1,138 people were killed and 2,500 were injured, was a turning point. On that day, Fashion Revolution was born. For us, losing 1,138 people from that planet in one factory, in one day, that was too much without it standing for something. The majority of the victims were young women. Now, in the 4 years since the tragedy, people from all over the world have come together to demand change on the streets, on social media, in schools, in government's halls. We want to uncover the stories behind the clothes that we wear, because one way of lessening the burden of such a huge problem is to become an active part of its solution. Fashion Revolution is looking for a cleaner, a fairer, a safer, a more transparent, a more accountable fashion industry. We believe in an industry that values people, creativity, profit, and the environment in equal measure. We are here to ensure that we can bring everybody together to make this happen. We are designers, academics, writers, leaders, policymakers, brands, retailers, producers, makers, workers, fashion lovers. We are the industry and we are the consumers. We are world citizens. We are you. And we believe that everything starts with transparency, and that transparency starts with one simple question: who made my clothes? Traceability and accountability is the next frontier, but we need to look at a fashion horizon that goes beyond just loving a brand because it looks good, but trusting it because it does good. In the few years since we started our campaign, our impact has been significant. So last year, for Fashion Revolution Week 2016, 70,000 people showed their label and asked the brands who made my clothes. We had a total of 156 million impressions of our hashtag. There were over 800 events all over the world. Our media reach, again for April 2016, was amazing. 22 billion online media reach. And in fact, now at the end of the year, we're close to 30. We're seeing more and more brands responding. But most crucially and most importantly, we're beginning to hear and see from the producer who make our clothes, they're using their own hashtag, which is I made your clothes. We are in schools all over the world. And we've had global Instagrammers and influencers taking part in our alternative initiatives, which has now generated over 4 million views online. Check this film if you can. It's a multi-winning award film called The €2 T-shirt, A Social Experiment. This one's been seen over 7 million times on YouTube. Fashion Revolution is a global movement that works for a more sustainable fashion industry, campaigning for a systemic reform of the industry with a special focus on the need for greater transparency in the fashion supply chain. We work all year round to raise awareness to the fashion industry's more pressing issues. We advocate for positive change, and we celebrate those who are on a journey for a fairer future for fashion. We love clothes, but we don't want our clothes to come to the cost of people or planet. Understanding where our clothes are being made, who is making them, and under what conditions is vital. Literally. So asking that brands disclose the provenance of their clothing is a really important first step. And by provenance, we don't necessarily mean country of origin. We want to know the village, the factory, the machine, the hands that made those clothes. Because it's not really just about made in the UK, made in China, made in India. We want you to look out for clothes that are made in dignity. Because this ethical fashion, this sustainable fashion that complies to what fashion really is, that is born out of artistry and bravery and skills and heritage, this is fashion. It's everything else that isn't. But it's not just the ethics of the fashion industry that are coming into question. The aesthetic of the mainstream is changing. Photoshop is out, reality is in, diverse is the new uniform. We still want to look good, but we are looking for a stronger sense of meaningfulness that goes beyond our mirror, beyond the latest story on Instagram. And in a world where connections are made so easy via social media and the internet, we are looking at individualism, and individualism is often made of small things. So what rings true right now is a return to the handmade, human values and a human signature, imperfections, the true beauty of a genuinely artisanal product. Fashion as a political statement, clothes with meaning, clothes with history, clothes with a message, with a unique narrative. Sadly, we are nowhere near an industry that is free from environmental and human exploitation, which is why we need to take every opportunity to raise our voices, to raise our concerns, to push for equality and push for change, because it isn't enough just looking for quality in the products we buy. We must ensure that there is quality in the lives of the people who make them. We need to look for business models that will tackle better the problems that we face, problems such as climate change, human rights abuse, gender inequality, imbalances of power. So Coco Chanel said, fashion is not something that exists in dresses only. Fashion is in the sky, in the street. Fashion has to do with ideas, the way we live, what is happening. I think today should be saying, fashion is in our polluted water, in our overflowing landfills. Fashion has to do with the people who make our clothes, the way they live, what is happening to our planet. The role of designers is that of finding solutions. And the creative solutions of tomorrow will be about redressing a balance. They will be about a different understanding of our relationship with fashion and the things that we choose to wear. Let's make fashion talk. Let's take this creativity and make it do great things. The fashion industry could lead and should lead. We are what we wear. Clothes are our chosen skin. So I would like you to follow this new trend, transparency. And you guessed it, I am not talking about a 90s throwback, nor am I suggesting you should be showing your skin. I'm asking you to show your respect. And please join us for Fashion Revolution Week, starting on the 24th of April this year. And don't forget to ask, who made my clothes? Thank you.